Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We have got, of course, one of the co-hosts with the most Main, and I am Nano Goblin, the other co-host, and we got a special guest, Papa Goblin, aka Papa Maximus, aka Dad, who's going to be sharing a lot of his TV watching experiences from when Jalmin and I were kids or when he was a kid himself. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump right into it.
Yeah. So, first of all, who are you to everybody?
Oh, okay. So, like Snormax said, I'm his dad.
Dad, on here I'm
You're
Nano.
representing
On here I'm Nano.
Nano. Okay.
He's
so
both.
I'm
It
Papa.
Or
doesn't
Snore.
Papa
Yeah,
Nano.
either way, whatever. As long as you don't call
Yeah.
me late for dinner, Pop.
Fair enough. So I'm
Depends on how his chairs work.
basically a token boomer, I think. They brought me in to represent boomers, and or excuse me, Nano said that I'm right on the crux of being a Gen Xer, but I think I can represent the boomers fairly well because I won't say how old I am.
Yeah.
You'll probably figure it out.
So what we normally do is we just kind of jump through the subjects. We sent you questions so you could be kind of prepared, but we'll kind of start at the beginning. But I actually my actual first question wasn't on there. But when it comes to TV shows, what is your most memorable moment anywhere in your life?
So you want to do it in particular order?
No, this is just a pure curiosity on my behalf. I just like everyone's got that favorite TV moment. I figured I'd ask it before we started going through some of these questions.
So I Dreamed of Jeannie. Barbara Eden was before I knew what hot was. I was like, 6, 7.
Honestly, I don't disagree.
Yeah. And
Agreed.
then
Yep.
Bewitched was kind of cute.
Yeah. So when you came home, let's keep it with what I guess is that first question. When you came home at night, what kind of shows were you usually put on without thinking? Like, what's that first thing that you normally like? Oh, I know that this is on this channel.
Oh, well, we only had 3 channels, so that was fairly simple. And my sisters were older than me and could beat the crap out of me if I disagreed. So we watched a vampire, zombie, werewolf soap opera called Dark Shadows. Maybe you watched the movie Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp, I think.
Oh yeah, okay. So I didn't know that was based on an old show.
Yeah, they did everything. They did time travel. They had a witch that turned Barnabas Collins into a vampire, and I mean it just had everything on it. But it was a soap opera style horror show in the afternoon, and then of course Gilligan's Island, and was the early evening shows that I recall when I was.
So you said you had 3 channels. What do you know what networks these 3 channels were?
Sure, ABC, NBC, and CBS. There was PBS, but I didn't like to watch. I was kind of afraid of PBS because it had Mr. Rogers on it, and I didn't know what a pedophile was when I was, 5 or 6, but he scared me.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Well, hopefully, no offense to Fred Rogers fans.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, he's a beloved character, but I don't disagree. Like, he gave off very creepy vibes.
Yeah. So yeah, I avoided that channel altogether.
Okay, so obviously that second question isn't really super relevant because you couldn't channel surf. There was only a couple channels.
And I had bigger sisters and my parents, of course, so I was low on the totem pole. So.
Okay, so if you did get an opportunity to watch something, what were you? Because did you
Well,
watch a lot of like Saturday morning cartoon or something?
yeah, I mean, Josie and the Pussycats, I think was later. We had like Rocky and Bullwinkle and
Yeah.
The Professor and Mr. Peabody.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Love that show.
yeah.
Such a good show.
Some, Disney on Sundays, they had Disney movie night. They'd show one movie every Sunday. Um,
Okay, so
but
we can move it forward. So once you were an adult and living on your own, what were you watching?
uh, um, That's a good question. Andy introduced me to Friends in its seventh season. I didn't know what Friends was. So I worked night shift a lot, and the job I had, we were required to watch like open source TV, like Al Jazeera, news channels, basically to see what world
Right.
events were. When I
So
came up,
I can so I know from talking to Andy what job you were in, but I don't know how much you want to say. But it's you traveled.
yeah,
Like I know
right.
you guys lived in Germany for a while, so that would have been completely different TV.
I'm familiar with Baywatch and what was the other one Hasselhoff was in before that, Knight Rider.
Knight Rider.
Um,
Yep.
okay,
Oh,
so you're married, so you probably watch everything your wife watches, right?
A little bit,
So
yeah.
yeah, everything is like 90 Day Fiance. She liked National Geographic. The Alaska, living in Alaska on your own and hunting and fishing and things like that. So I watched
Okay.
what she watched, kind of half watched
Right.
what she watched. Now that she passed, and I'm watching news again, but mainly I'm watching what my daughter watches now um,
Right.
because
oh, uh,
because
t-
otherwise I'm by myself because nobody Andy and Heidi don't really like to watch the news with me. Andy watches news on his own. Excuse me. Nano
Right. But
watches.
it's
Dad, you can
I
call
will
me
say that
Andy. It's fine. Dad,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like I said, don't call me late for
Okay.
dinner, Pop. That's all I ask.
Right?
It's one of those things. I'm guilty of not watching the news enough. And people come in to where I work and they're like, "Hey, did you know this is going on?" I go, "No." And I should watch it more.
The advantage of so somewhere between adulthood and childhood, there was Get Smart and um, there was MASH. There was a lot of shows that my parents liked to watch that I thought were hilarious. Green Lake Acres. I don't know if you're familiar with Green Acres, Eddie Albert,
Yep,
Charles
yep,
Gabor. Yeah, they
yep.
were hilarious. I watched them again in Germany. I was able to watch that again. I introduced Andy Shit at Green Acres, and
Hmm.
they just love it.
Not my
So
full
See, I
government
used to
name,
watch.
Pop.
I, I remember with my parents, I used to watch a lot of Leave It to Beaver.
oh wow, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm the same age as Andy, but it's one of those things. Like that's they put on that rerun channel growing
Yeah,
up, and we all sat down and watched Leave It to Beaver because it was just
yeah.
great. Like
Oh well, I've never seen it. I watched June Lockhart on Lassie and Lost in Space, and
oh,
but
Lost in
that's the
Space.
advantage of having only three channels. Was there's not a lot to fight over. No, not a lot of debate. I
Right.
liked what my parents watched, and I actually liked Dark Shadows, the soap opera.
Right.
It was
Yeah. Well, when it's got monsters in it,
yeah,
it
Oh,
kind of
Dad.
appeals.
Well,
uh,
don't forget, you are the one that it got me obsessed with video games and sci-fi. You're the reason I'm a big old Star Trek nerd. Um,
oh yeah, yeah. We watched Star Trek when it first came out. I didn't know that Captain Kirk, that there was a season before Captain Kirk with Captain Pike. There was actually one. It was, I don't know if it was just one episode or if it was a full season. But yeah, I remember Captain Kirk really well. Um, do
So
you know,
no, go ahead. Sorry.
well, what was Captain Pike do you know if that was just one episode? I know he was in a episode with James T. Kirk as captain in the Menagerie. But before that, I think he had like a pilot episode. Uh,
Right.
Pike did, but I don't know. I never saw it. But
Okay.
yeah,
So
I really like.
I'm going to move on to the last question of this first part here. So, knowing that you had sisters that seemed to obviously control the TV more, did you grow up in a city, or were you outside in the country all the time? Is like, did you spend more time outside growing up and not around the TV?
Yeah, when I was oh yeah, we liked WWF and roller derbies. But
Oh,
yeah, I
nice.
was outside a lot when we only had one TV. It was black and white. I have to mention for control of the TV, there was no remote control. You had to get up and actually walk across the room.
Turn the dial. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. But yeah, I was outside a lot. I didn't watch a lot of TV until it was nighttime and we all came in and then we liked WWF. Um, It Takes a Thief with Robert Wagner. I don't know if you remember.
Oh,
It was a movie at first with Gene Kelly, and then they turned it into a TV show, and I love that. That was a really interesting show. This guy was either going to go back to prison or he had to do um, investigate jewelry thefts for the CIA. I think it
right.
was.
Okay, so I'm gonna hand this to Andy. I've asked quite a few questions, so I'm gonna hand this to Andy. Obviously, you grew up with him, so I'm gonna let you ask a few questions here because you're gonna be able to get some of the juicy bits out of him, I think.
I don't know about all that, but I'll do my best. So, Dad, what? So I know we were watching, like, growing up when I was in single digits, double digits, all that good stuff. We watched a lot of Star Trek and a lot of Stargate, but and I think maybe one or two episodes of Battlestar Galactica, but we got bored. Um, what was your favorite between Star Trek and Stargate? Which one would you think is better? And just to be fair warning, Dad, this is for clipping to rage bait people. So give the most controversial answer you can think of.
There's a right answer and there's a wrong answer.
Well, I liked Star Trek, but that had the first interracial kiss. Um, But there was another Battlestar Galactica that I really liked before the do-over, before they did their second Battlestar Galactica. It was really good. Um,
Is it
I can't
Caprica?
remember. What's that?
Was it Caprica?
No, it was Battlestar Galactica. It was in
Oh, okay.
the mid '70s, I think. I'd have to look it up, but it was
Oh, okay.
Oh, by
and
the
again,
way,
it was before cables.
father and son, we both think Uhura is hot. Nichelle Nichols, you know,
Who doesn't?
you know.
Even Deadpool, right? Is that the same actress that was in Deadpool?
I I I can't be 100% sure, to be honest. I
The
know
old
who you're
lady, you
talking
mean?
about.
The old
Yeah,
blind lady?
yeah.
Right.
I think so.
You,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I'll take y'all's word for it. I believe you guys. Um,
Between those two, though, I preferred. Now, are you talking Next Generation, or they have lots of spin-offs? Or are you talking about the original?
well,
Um,
I recall us watching a lot of, some of the original, but you and I would always watch Next Generation. Um,
yeah, I like Next Generation. There was the other ones like Voyager and Ninth. What was the one? Um, Ninth Generation, Ninth something.
Oh, Deep
I
Space
don't know.
Nine.
Deep Space Nine. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't care for that one. But yeah, Next Generation a lot. I didn't care for the first lieutenant. Some of the characters I didn't care for
Oh
a lot,
yeah.
but Picard carried it.
By the hey, and fun fact, guys, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, of course, Pop, but wasn't that your nickname in the military early on in like the 90s and early 2000s? They would call you Picard. Uh,
Yeah, that, and I got Bruce Willis a lot when I was in better shape, believe it or not.
I could see it.
When I deployed, when I deployed to over to the Republic of Georgia, that was my nickname was Bruce. I don't know if he'd come out with a movie at the time. Or,
Just turning it off. Give up. My chroma key is not working. My contrast is way too bright. There you go.
and the next question kind of goes into what we actually started this podcast on, kind of watching TV with kids around. And I think one of the first memories I have of like really like a nightly TV thing that we would watch as a family is the America's Funniest Home Videos, and then right after it would go into Lois and Clark, The New Adventures with Dean Cain. And so
yeah,
what
that was
was
awesome.
some of the other TV shows you like to watch with me around as a little kiddo? I know I forced you to watch Power Rangers and VR Troopers. I'm sorry, Dad. I know that's
Right.
still traumatizing.
Oh, and Beetleborgs. Beetleborgs. I love Beetleborgs. The guy looked like Jay Leno.
He did.
Main character with a huge chin. Yeah. Of course, we can't forget Stephen Bloom.
Wait,
Um,
who? What? Hold on.
well, there was Heidi too. You got to include your sister. So,
Oh, Blue's Clues, Stephen Blue. I thought you
right.
said Stephen Bloom. I was like, who's Stephen Bloom?
That's a new show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was in school at the time, and I would spend a lot of time out of the house too. Unfortunately, it was just you, your sister, and your mom. So I didn't watch a lot of TV when I was trying to earn my degree and get my commission to go back on active duty. So um, I didn't watch a lot of TV, but yeah, I remember those. Love Beetleborgs, and Power Rangers was hilarious. It was just
What
over the top.
what shows would you watch for you though? Like aside from watching kids shows, did you what was on that you would regularly tune into?
Oh, I gotta refer to Andy. What did your mom make you watch?
All My Children, Days of
Oh
Our
yeah, oh my goodness.
Lives.
Yeah, that's right. I'd come home for lunch and she'd be watching the soaps and I'd just eat lunch and watch the soaps with her and then go back to work. So yeah, I lived on base, so I was really close to home. I could just hop back in and watch TV with her. So yeah, it was soaps. I couldn't change the channel even if she left the room for 15, 20 minutes and I changed the channel to something else. She'd come back and say, "How dare you?" Change the channel. I was watching that. So, dear, you've been gone for 30 minutes.
The show was literally on end credits. My dad would change the channel, and sure enough, like clockwork, you know. So,
Yep.
Do you relate to that?
My mom watched a lot of Young and the Restless and Guiding Light, and she never watched whatever was on before. What General Hospital? She never watched that one. She didn't like that one. but Young and the Restless and Guiding Light were big for
Oh, nice.
Are you sure
That
you're
and
only
then
Andy's age?
yeah, I know there's a lot of gray here, but um but my thing is like my stepdad would also watch all his shows, so like American Gladiator, we watched that a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Okay.
That was a great show. And obviously we always tuned in for The Simpsons and AFV and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
those were staples in the house. It was like, oh, dinner time to put The Simpsons on, and you know.
Yeah.
it's funny you
So you only
mentioned
had
that,
three
man.
channels too.
Sorry.
I said you had only had three channels too, or you just you guys stuck
Um,
Fox
as
and-
lucky as I was, I would say I wasn't spoiled in the sense that I had like money and stuff like that, but like we did have a hacked cable box.
Okay.
So we had quite a few channels, but I didn't get a lot of the like crazy extras. Like I didn't get like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and all that stuff growing up, but we did have like a pretty good amount. I remember the point in which we went from having like 12 channels to having like 112 channels kind of thing, but I only watched like 8 of them, right? So
Right.
because
Yeah.
like I'm a science person, to be honest. So once when I had control of the TV, it was like Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, um, some things that might be on the History Channel and stuff like that. But you know, that was what I watched a lot of. And then obviously as a kid, I watched cartoons and stuff like that as well. But I would say I probably know more about animals than I do most of the cartoons Andy and I share.
I we haven't talked about this a whole lot, but that brings up a memory, especially with my dad being here. We would watch the Breed All About It and Dogs 101 and Cats 101 on Animal Planet. The and
Yeah.
to, even to this day, I'll be like, that's a red, something something when I'm at Petco or PetSmart,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, that's a red setter. Those are really rare. Oh my god, that's a Brittany or whatever. And my dad's like, how do you remember those? And I'm like, how do you not? We watched hours and hours. But
Yeah. It's one of those things that like um I absorbed a lot of that stuff. I grew up on a lake, so I was always outside doing stuff. So when I did watch TV, I was like, hey, I want to learn about the things that I could see out there, you know?
Right. And we watched a lot of American Gladiator also. Andy said I didn't let him watch The Simpsons when he was really young. So he caught up with The Simpsons, I think.
I know a lot of people that weren't allowed to because of how they would poke at religion and stuff. So I like growing up in a small little farm town, a lot of
Yeah.
people were Sunday church people. So I had a lot of friends that were like, yeah, I have to like watch The Simpsons when it's not like, and my parents aren't home kind of thing, because they weren't allowed to watch it otherwise. Um, just because they poke fun at falling asleep in church and doing stuff like that.
Right.
um, but what else do we have for questions here?
we've also
So
got. Oh.
I was gonna say, speaking of the people not allowed to watch The Simpsons, are there shows that you wouldn't let Andy or Heidi watch growing
I
up?
didn't like American Dad and Family Guy. That's just over the top. It's still over the top for me. A lot of episodes are just too much for me. I was raised in a religious background. We were at church at least 4 times a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my dad wanted to be a pastor, so
Okay,
he
makes sense. Makes sense.
I inherited some of those sensibilities, I guess.
It's morals, and as bad as it is, some of the people nowadays don't have those. Um,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that, like, growing up in that situation, yes, there were certain things that you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that, when I have my family. But at the same time, having something to believe in is something that I think everybody should have. And whether or not it's the same as everybody else or not, but it's also, like, having those morals to know that, okay, like I don't let my kids play Call of Duty and those, like, more realistic, like, violent games. Like, they can play Fortnite because, like, when that person dies, he turns into digital blocks, like, it's meant to be, not real, so, like, my oldest is 11 right now, and I don't let him play really violent things, because I'm like, I want him to enjoy the fun stuff before the actual, he gets introduced to the, hey, this is kind of what the real world is, you know
Right.
so.
Yeah, yeah. Andy, when was the game that you've been playing?
Oh, one of the big ones for sure, and I'm sure a lot of people had a similar situation to an extent. Uh, Grand Theft Auto, the Grand Theft Auto series.
Yeah. Yeah, more, and I would say, like, the early one, like Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, where it was a weird top down, you were just stealing a car and driving it around, was a different story. But now, because you can hire hookers and take them back and screw them like that, I'm
Yeah.
just like, no, like, why does my kid need to play that?
Yeah. On the other hand, what was the volleyball game?
Oh, the Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball.
Yeah, the extremely sexualized stuff.
Yeah,
Although you didn't
Leisure,
seem to
Leisure
mind that.
Suit Larry.
he
Thank
was allowed to
goodness.
play that often.
Yeah, but it just comes down to, like, my kid, I want my kid to be a kid as long as he can be a kid, right? So I, it's bad enough that he's 11 going on 17, so
Right.
it's just one
Yeah.
of those things. But it you gotta make sure that they have the understanding of, like, those shows that show those morals of how to be actually a good person to other people, and I try to make sure that they still do all that stuff. Like, when like, it's one thing to, like, give me attitude every once in a while, like, I still give them shit and stuff like that, but it's one of those things, like, that's one thing. But as soon as I leave this house, like, with them, and they're out in public, they know what I say goes, what another person says goes. Like, if they're at their grandparents, they know, they listen.
Oh, that's
Like,
great.
there's no if, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. That's the problem with being in the military, moving every 2 to 3 years. They didn't get to know their grandparents very well, and yeah, they had different teachers, not just moving from grade to grade, but I mean, a totally different school every 2 to 3 years. And
Right.
so,
But he turned out
uh,
fine.
yeah,
Sort of.
yeah.
We'll see.
Uh,
Jury's still
Still-
out.
Still working on it. He's awesome, and moving forward with his education, and always wanting to do better, start his own business, so forth. So, and he's a smart guy,
Thanks, Pop.
ambitious.
um is there, so between the two of you, actually, is there anything, looking back at your time, your 37 years together, is there anything looking back that's surprised you guys actually still remember that moment?
Well, oh, go ahead, Pop. No, you first.
I've been talking.
No, well,
much
that's the
anyway.
point. No,
You're the guest that you're supposed to be the one talking.
yeah.
But you had something in mind?
Oh, I was gonna say the one memory that I'll that often it was one of actually the most viewed clips that we have as with our podcast, Joe, is the wrestling burrito clip.
Oh yeah,
The
Oh, okay.
the
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. Um, we
yeah
we try to recreate WWE. I
Mixed with Power Rangers.
yeah
yeah, Power Rangers. Yeah, we had a futon with a mattress, and I take him down and roll him up in the mattress, and then pile drive. I'd jump on top of him. Uh,
Mhm.
I dive into him with my shoulder. Um, they had a lot of fun.
That's
You
what
were
happened to his
in.
legs. No, I'm kidding.
yep no.
That was
um,
that was sixth, seventh grade, and his sister got a kick out of it too. She's about 4 years younger, but she'd like to get involved with that.
right.
Um,
I remember wrestling with my dad, with my older brother and stuff like that all the time. Like we play fought constantly. I think we broke a few couches, being
yeah,
tossed around and stuff. Like, the spring would pop or something, right? So those are core memories that like there's nothing better, you know.
yeah. Um,
Like
I used to drag Andy up to the top of a slide and let him. It was really fun. Uh, and just drop him off into the water. But it was really fun getting him up to the edge of a pool in his wheelchair and tossing him
Throwing me in, yeah.
into the water.
yeah, I can
It was
understand that.
Yeah, he's a good swimmer, but that was our joke on everyone else at the pool.
Yeah.
So okay, so here's the question. Before, like when he was really young, did you just dump him in then too? Like, or did you actually like put him through lessons and
He never had any lessons when he was really young. I wouldn't do anything like that, but he was a natural swimmer. I
okay.
except before he became a good swimmer, and maybe his grandpa contributed to his ability to swim, but he was just my dad was just dragging Andy around in circles, and he had his head up in the air looking off into somewhere else, and he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. So he was dragging Andy under the water, head under the water, round and round in circles, and that might have. So he's not laughing.
he's like that was the time I almost drowned.
Yeah, literally. No, I was genuinely, because I remember this quite well. I was literally under for a minute and a half, 2 minutes almost. And when you're a kid, like that's
it becomes traumatizing.
that's a decent time
in a minor way. Oh yeah, it is.
Well, when you're
my scary drowning story is almost the same. It was me and my brother. I was probably 6 years old, I think. And we were out at one of the we had friends at one of the marinas down the road from where I lived. And we were swimming in off the end of one of their marina docks. And for whatever reason, I had taken my life jacket off because I was like, oh, I'm going to try and swim more without my life jacket to get better at it. And my brother, for whatever reason, decided he was going to cannonball on top of me while doing that. And I actually ended up getting tangled in the seaweed at the bottom because it was just that shallow. And like I frantically, like I remember ripping seaweed out of the ground to get back up to the surface. And like it's just a lake, it's fresh water, it's not like crazy seaweed, it's not kelp, so but it's scary. And I was under there for a good while, and he thought I was joking kind of thing, right? So he never actually dove down. I come up and I'm like I'm still pulling seaweed off my legs when I hit the surface, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah.
Older brother drowns younger, younger brother.
yeah, and
Siblings.
but it was weird because it was a year later. I was jumping off of 30-foot cliffs with my brother. You know,
Yeah.
like we
That
were big. Well, we were big lake kids, so we were always doing cliff jumping and stuff. So I should have
that's
became a
awesome.
SEAL, but I didn't. Whatever the Canadian
Yeah.
SEAls are.
You
So
know, so
swimming was a big. I was just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say swimming was a big pastime for us. We were always going to the pool or the jacuzzi, or that
Mhm.
was something we could do all together as a family.
Yeah, it's that's me with my family. Like we go as much as possible swimming, at the lake and stuff. We still go to the lake I grew up at. We have a cottage that we rent out there every year, so the kids still get to enjoy the lake just as much as I did.
that's awesome, man.
So
Um, what else do we have?
you were asking about Germany, what we
Yeah.
watched in Germany. So Andy was in charge of what we watched most of the time. We did have German cable TV. They had a couple English programs, but unfortunately, it was like the Kardashians, and I think the Germans had the idea that all Americans were like the Kardashians.
What what year would this have been that you guys were in Germany?
We were there from 2010 to 2012.
Okay, so not as long ago as I was thinking. I was thinking it was like, late 90s, early 2000s is when.
Mm.
Well, yeah, Andy was born in Germany, so we were in Germany then as well. We've had, well, I had 3 tours in Germany, um, and they had MTV had just come out, so we were watching a lot of MTV. And people would send us videotapes of, just hours and hours of the MTV when it first came out, when it was just music, and it was a lot of fun to.
When music television stood for music.
Right. Uh, it, so Andy was born then, and then oh, my wife was watching this Brazilian soap opera. Again, I was coming home and watching soap operas with her in the early '90s. And Andy, she was, just 1 year old, and we moved back to the
Mhm.
and a lot of tennis. Germans liked tennis a lot. Um,
Oh,
Jimmy Connor was still playing. Um, there was a Yugoslav player. I can't remember what her name was. She got stabbed and she dropped out of tennis. There's
yeah.
this guy who didn't want her to be Steffi Graf, the German. He had such German pride, he decided to stab the competition. And
One way to make
so
sure.
and we rented a lot of, we had like a Blockbuster, but it was a military, video rental store.
So here's a crazy story. So we just recently had a college student who's 20 years old working for us, and he was pulling some media. So it was a video game, but it was an older Xbox original, I think, video game, and he opened it, and on the disc, they had put BBV for Blockbuster Video
Uh,
on the disc, and he goes, do I need to clean this off? Like, why would someone write on this? And I was like, you don't know what that is? And I was like, that's Blockbuster. He's like, I think I've heard of that before. I'm like,
yeah,
what? It's crazy to think about that things like Blockbuster went quote unquote extinct long enough ago that the new youth have no idea.
right. Hollywood Video, and then Redbox came out.
Yeah.
For,
Yeah, which and then and then Netflix was also technically a physical video rental that you could do before they went to digital online. But it's one of those things, like I remember being a kid, it was huge to go and rent movies or video games and stuff. Like Friday night, my mom would get home from work early, and we'd go into town, and I'd rent a video and maybe a couple games to play for the week, and it was awesome. Like,
That's how we
and
became
you never
such...
played more.
Oh, go ahead. No, after you.
I was going to say, you never have more pressure to beat a video game than know that your rental is 7 days.
Yeah. He loved going, and he loved going to Hollywood Video and Blockbuster Video, because when they had all the used games come out, they'd run their course. People didn't like them anymore. Or it wasn't renting them anymore. And you could get some really good deals. It was better than GameStop or Game World or whichever one.
I think there's still one Blockbuster Video open
In Oregon, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was on the Simpsons. No, it was on Family Guy. They made a trip, pilgrimage to Oregon to go to the last Blockbuster.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just gonna say, that's how you and I, Joe, became, one of each other's best buds. Was reminiscing about the Blockbuster experience.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of those things. There's that, and there's also the fact that, like, because we are the same age, watching a lot of the same shows was big. And my dad, I grew up in a divorced household. So my dad, he actually lived down in Pennsylvania for a lot of my youth. But he didn't, like, I didn't have that person to watch shows with like that. Like, my stepdad was a car guy. Like, he watched, Spike TV, Extreme 4x4, like that kind of stuff, which isn't terrible stuff, but I didn't connect with him as well. So, like, anytime I went down to see my dad, we were playing video games. Like, he's the reason I play Final Fantasy, like, so it's just one of those things. Like, I didn't get the TV watching experience with my father, so I got to watch all the girly shows with my mom.
Yeah. So soap operas.
Yeah, lots of soap operas. But we also had TGIF that we watched as a family. So being able to watch Sabrina and Boy Meets World and all that kind of stuff also helped a little bit, but
TGIF, that's Canadian, isn't it?
TJF, yeah, it's Thank God It's Friday. Friday nights there would be like a slot of 4 or 5 shows in a row that were like very family oriented shows.
That was in the States too, because we had it. I distinctly remember.
I think it's an ABC block. It was ABC Network that it was a block of.
Oh, we did watch Sabrina quite a bit, and Clarissa Explains It All. Explains everything.
I never watched a lot of that one. I don't think we got that as much.
It was the one right before Melissa Joan Hart did the whole Sabrina thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was yeah. Because that was her, right? That was still Melissa Joan Hart. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
His sister loved Hannah Montana and wanted to be Hannah Montana, and was wondering why her dad wasn't Billy Ray Cyrus. So
yeah, and now look at her.
Right.
I meant Hannah Montana, not your daughter.
Right.
Although I hear your daughter is a phenomenal singer, so.
Right. Yeah, she's going on a classical music career. She wants to. Her and Andy should want to move to Ireland.
I most certainly do not. Why are you putting that out there? I'm not moving with you guys.
I think it would be phenomenal. I'm a musician myself, so I completely understand it. um, I said it to Andy, like out of all the times, um, like we've hung out, which is most nights, I've only actually heard her in the background a couple times, and I'm like, oh, she has a nice voice, just her talking voice. So I'm like, I could understand that she's probably got a phenomenal singing voice. So
And I don't discourage her. I mean, she's 33 anyway. But
yeah,
or Andy, whatever he wants to pursue, then I'm on board. Unfortunately, they're two different paths. So yeah, he wants to, move to. I like to be next to Andy and his sister, but they want to go in two separate directions. I kind of
right.
like to move back to Europe to be close to my wife's family. They're really um, family oriented. There's a lot of aunts, uncles, cousins, um, and there are a lot of fun. They do all kinds of events together.
Are they?
And
You said Ireland earlier. Are they based in Ireland?
they're in Vienna, Austria, and Gothenburg, Sweden.
Okay.
Vienna's got most of her families there. Mother and
Okay.
she's getting older, and it'd be nice to be close to her because she's older. But yeah, Vienna's a lot of fun. He's got a cousin almost his age, and there's lots of things to see and do in Europe. Small enough. They have this airline called Ryanair. It'll fly you from Vienna, Austria to Sweden for 30 euros, maybe $40.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
I hate
crazy.
to break
And
it to you,
they
they
fly out of
suck.
Ryanair sucks. Yeah.
No, the family you're discussing.
Oh, yeah. Um,
It's
Different opinions.
yeah.
I mean,
No.
the last time you saw, we saw him before we left Germany. We saw him in 20.
We sure did. That was
Um,
good enough.
well, everybody matured.
Yeah,
They're
thank
older.
God they're almost dead.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, you said they matured. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So there's no place we can agree on, and Andy doesn't really want to. He doesn't want to. He wants to be out on his own anyway. So does Heidi. So
Yeah. See, for me, it's funny. So all of my family live near me, which is awesome. I love it. Like even my dad's obviously back in the area, kind of thing. But it's one of those things that like, my mother-in-law and stuff always want to go. They want to travel and see tropical areas. So like my wife and two kids and my mother-in-law in March for like the March break of school are going to Cuba, and I don't know if you pay attention to what's going on right now. I
yeah,
don't
Donald
know
Trump
what's going
is
to happen.
yeah,
So
yeah, well,
it's one of
yeah,
those
same.
things.
He wanted
Yeah,
to move to, and I don't know if he still does already. And he wanted to move to Poland, and the Putin's right on the verge of invading Poland, I think, as his first objective after the Ukraine.
right.
But
It's weird with the conflicts within the world right now. What's going to happen? You know, it's a matter of, does another war start? Does something else even worse happen, or do we? Does the world decide to sit down and go, okay, let's figure something out here? Hold up, like, you know. We hope it's that they just sit down and say, okay, hold on, let's just figure out things here. um
right,
but it's so hard with the way politics work right now. um it's a weird system that, you
yeah,
know, because it's not that easy. It's you can um as much as we can sit here and have a civilized conversation, when it comes to very serious things, tempers can flare and all that stuff too. So yeah,
yeah,
I I'm glad I'm not a politician is all I can say.
yeah. Yeah, Iran's in the mix, and Trump says it was like before with the nuclear program. We'll give them 2 weeks. We'll give them, no, with the Palestine, we'll give them 30 days. We'll give them 3 months. We'll give them 6 months. He's doing the same with Iran. He's going to wait till it's too late. He's got, the chance to eradicate the worst sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East, for certainly. And he hasn't taken the opportunity, and I don't know that he will. I'm surprised Israel hasn't done anything. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
kind of off topic, I guess.
So we could bring this back to the TV, but because in knowing that you watch probably still a lot of news and stuff, because you're obviously familiar with what's going on world conflict wise, to look at, like, I don't watch a lot of news. I read some articles and stuff like that, but like, you have to watch all the different channels to make sure you get the whole story, because certain channels will only give you certain things.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So-
I bounce it off of MSN online. I look at what they're writing versus what, for instance, Newsmax or some of the more right wing channels on TV. I usually watch more right of center, but I'll balance it against MSN. And I certainly don't agree with Trump on the Ukraine. I don't agree with Trump on Iran. Just because he's has an opportunity, he's missing out on. And the Ukraine is just like Fox News had Andy Schiller. What's the guy that said we just need to forget about the Ukraine because they supported Hitler during World War II? Tucker Carlson. It was ridiculous. They didn't know about the.
But you're talking about a country in the 30s and 40s,
Yeah.
Versus a country in 2026, like
Yeah, someone is killing them. He killed 6 million during Bullet War. He starved the Ukrainians to death, and Hitler was their salvation. And they didn't know about prison camps, internment camps. They didn't know about
right.
the slaughter of Jews.
There's other things that people don't see, because the curtains were closed for them, like it's one of those things, like, especially so to look at war back then, both World War I, World War II, there was only the small amount of news that would travel compared to now, where there's 40 news friggin' sites that'll give you 80 different versions of everything. So it's one of those things, like social media and stuff like that has made it so that people get a lot more information, but it's almost sometimes too much information because they start reflecting at what happened 70 years ago.
Yeah, that was ridiculous to say, oh yeah, it's okay to bomb babies in maternity hospitals, slaughter innocent civilians. But I'm particularly interested in Iran because my wife was a Iranian refugee.
Right.
We met in Portland, and we have one family member still in Iran. We're concerned about. We have Iranian family members, like I said, I like to move close to in Sweden and Austria, they were refugees also.
Right.
Yeah.
During the crisis. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, a lot of people turn a blind eye to a lot of the things that are happening, and I'm guilty of it. I try to look at mostly my own country's problems, and just only vaguely notice the other country's problems. But my biggest thing is when it comes to news, like for me, because of the job I have, which is working at like essentially a pawn shop, gold and silver and platinum prices right now is what I pay attention to, and that is insane.
Yeah.
Like in 2025, gold has gone up by, I think it was 60% over the year, and then silver went up 150% in the year. Like it's crazy. Like an ounce of gold right now, I don't know what it is American, but Canadian, it's like $6,400 Canadian for an ounce of gold right now.
We
Hold on,
sold those silver dollars too soon, huh? And Andy,
so I just changed it to
Maybe.
US. So an ounce of silver today is $89 US. And it was probably less than half that back probably June, July.
wow.
So yeah, it's just crazy. Like gold US right now is $4,622.
I should have held on to the ones I bought, but no,
Yeah,
it's
you had 10 ounces of silver, didn't you?
something like that.
Which of
Yeah.
those?
Yeah, it's one of those things, and they project it to almost double by August.
Well,
So
we need to go back down to pawn shop.
Yeah.
Weird.
Definitely, I'd be down.
that's what I follow when it comes to news.
Makes sense.
All right, so let's bring it back around. We'll do one more question. What time are we at there, Andy?
We are at an hour.
Weird saying that. We're at an hour. Okay, so let's do one or two more questions here. Well, you know what, Nano, it's your dad. Do you have one question to think of?
Okay.
Back on the TV subject, and you know what, even video game subject, we can do that as well.
Well, so you let's keep it TV related. Maybe he can come back as a special guest for a video game segment sometime.
My question is going to be video game, but okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
It'll be it'll be a segue for if you appear in a later one.
So
Sequels.
Papa Goblin or Papa Maximus the sequel. So what was one of the first movies you ever saw as a kid? What was one of the first movies you can remember seeing?
So that's a good question. I don't know which one I saw the first. I was telling Andy, his grandmother used to go and drop me off in the seedy part of town. There was this movie theater. While she goes shopping, she'd leave me alone in this movie theater. I was like 5 years old. I'm surprised I didn't wind up on a milk carton. I watched Bambi. We watched Hang 'em High. For a few dollars for a lot of Clint Eastwood movies in the theater. And then, but I don't know if that came first. We all went as a family together to drive-ins a lot when drive-ins were still a thing. You know, we sit in the car and hang the speakers in the window and go get snacks from the shop behind
They need to bring those
where the
back.
cars were parked. And but they were like vampire movies, bloody, gory. At least for a 5-year-old, they were pretty scary.
Like you mean old black and white Dracula kind of thing?
They were color, but yeah, they were Dracula things, you know, with Christopher. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, he played in a lot of What's that?
Christopher Walken's.
I have to look that up. He played a lot of vampire movies. It went along with Dark Shadows, a TV show, I guess, is why
Okay.
they like to see
So
those.
I'll ask two quick questions. One related to this. So in relation to that, what genre of movie did you more commonly get pulled towards to watch? Did you prefer the monster movies?
Oh, I know. I like to hang them high and a few dollars more. And Andy's gonna be embarrassed probably by this, but I loved Fiddler on the Roof. I saw that in theaters.
What's there to be
We
embarrassed
won't go
about?
off in musicals. One of my fifth grade teacher made us watch Oklahoma and a lot of musicals, and then
Yeah.
of course with three channels on TV, I mean they showed a lot of musicals on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and um, so I watched musicals, and I'll go
Yeah,
around singing.
I could agree. Being a musical person myself, like Rent is probably one of my like most watched musicals aside from Disney movies, I
Uh,
guess.
oh
But
yeah, I forgot about the Disney movies. Yeah, I think Beauty and the Beast was the first one we saw. And
okay.
Andy, um,
Yeah, that seems like that's one of the first ones I can remember. The next one that really comes to mind would be like the Toy Story, the original Toy Story and
Lion King.
Lion King. Oh, Aladdin, 1992, Aladdin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. 4 years old.
So sorry, just for context, what year were you born in so that I understand what when you say you were a kid, what year?
I was born at the tail end of '59. Um,
Okay. Okay. So you must have watched some of the old cartoon Disney movies as they came out.
uh, yeah, Bambi, and I love the Warner Brothers. And I mean, Bugs Bunny. I didn't understand how adult sophisticated his humor was. I still watch it. I'm surprised. Uh, you know,
Well, to think
my
of it, like Bugs Bunny was one of those things. They had funny things like rabbit season, duck season stuff, but then they also had like him and Yosemite Sam fighting in the Alamo.
yeah,
you know, so
yeah. He was a cross dresser sometimes.
yeah. Well, there's an episode my manager talks about. So my manager is 48, 49. So he talks about watching an episode. There's an episode where Bugs Bunny is literally saying counting uh Native Americans and calling them Injuns, which is one of those crazy episodes. But he's counting them because he's shooting them, and he's going one little, two little, three little, and he's shooting them,
Yeah,
and he's marking them on the wall that he's doing it. And I'm like, episodes like that, I can understand that they don't air those anymore.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
don't recall. I don't recall seeing that one. Maybe, but he was 46, huh? Uh, it must have aired again. Um,
It did. It was
I
the thing is Bugs Bunny was airing those until late 90s.
Yeah, I met Mel Blanc was. I mean, he's a man of 1,000 voices. He was awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, with all the characters, and they were
Well,
distinct.
well, and to think of oh, what's his name? The guy that does Winnie the Pooh. Um
Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings. Another
Uh,
huge voice actor. He does Winnie the Pooh. He does a lot of Disney voices like
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
He was also, I think he's done the Joker in Batman.
Oh, yeah. I remember Winnie the Pooh from when Walter Winchell uh,
Hmm.
did them. I don't know how far
Yep.
back that goes.
Yep. Did you watch a lot of the live action Batman?
You mean
With
the TV series
yeah,
with Adam West?
yeah,
All the time, constantly. It was
yeah,
so they bring in stars to play different villains, but they'd also bring in people from other TV sitcoms like I Dream of Jeannie or um,
yeah. There was a
Hogan's
lot of
Heroes.
crossover. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Hogan's Heroes. I always mean to watch more of that. Oh, Andy's crying. He's thinking of all these fantastic shows and he's tearing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Texas is trying to kill me.
You know how Bob Crane died? You know how Hogan died? The
No, no.
Bob Crane, he was found strangled by a lamp cord in the hotel room, buck
Oh wow.
naked. Just
He was into that.
apparently. And Bob, who was one on, they had the twin girls playing the same girl, Full House. He died under
Yep.
similar circumstances. I think.
Yeah, Bob Saget. Yep.
Bob Saget, yeah.
Yeah. They said it was a drug overdose though too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
Dark notes to end on.
yeah. Yep. Okay. So yeah, I was gonna ask you a video game question, but that we've done quite a few. We had our technical difficulties, as you could see by my background. I had my technical difficulties as much as you guys did, trying to figure out how to do. Originally you guys were going to be in the same room. Now you're in separate rooms on separate computers. So
He's been on Discord for years, and he didn't want me to follow him on his streaming content. It was embarrassing. His mom, I, and his sister were paying to follow, and he was just wouldn't let us on, and then he finally let me on to Discord.
honestly, my
My
favorite moments are the cameos of when Papa Goblin or Papa Snore Maximus comes to give drinks and stuff.
Oh,
Those are my favorite moments.
Where I'm floating in the background.
Yep. You come
Yeah.
either rolling in real slow or
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I was gonna say
Um,
you didn't want Discord originally, but
You just didn't want me to know what you're up to.
sure.
And then all that language that you use is just too much.
No, it's the
yeah.
when Jalmain joins the Discord things become calm and collected.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then our friend Group joins and it's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah, it's all his fault.
He's young, naive,
He's 29. He's just a young buck. Oh.
Is he 29? I thought he was younger than that. I thought he was 27. But yeah,
okay. Well, that explains a
We're
lot.
all pretty thin here. Cheap American housing. I hear a lot of stuff anyway.
He's a cop in Missouri. It's okay. Okay. Well, I think this is a good spot to wrap it up. Do you have anything that you would like to say before we sign off?
No, thanks for inviting me. I enjoyed reminiscing. I mean, sometimes think about certain things or certain shows or whatever. It was nice to reminisce, and then you guys brought back some memories for me. So maybe stave off another week of Alzheimer's or.
Hey, you know what? You are welcome anytime you want. You know that when we're recording, if you want to pop in, give a quick hello, you're more than welcome.
Yep.
Sounds good. All right, appreciate it.
Well, I think this is where we wrap it up. So thank you all for watching. Please click like and subscribe. It helps us know. Please leave a comment. If you want to see more guests, let us know down below, please and thank you. I'm gonna say adios, amigos.
Buenos
Adios.
nachos.
Buenos nachos. Such a good one.
See you guys.
Good night, everybody.
We didn't go outside.